Carl Jung, one of the most famous psychologists of all time, once said that the meeting of two personalities is like the collision of two atoms. There is a spark, he says, and sparks fly when two people who are psychologically mature meet. They rub against each other, and something new is created. But when two neurotic people meet, they do not create anything new. Instead, they recreate their neuroses. What did he mean by this? Well, let's find out in today's episode. Hello, and welcome to our channel. Here we bring you the most recent and accurate knowledge from various fields of science. Today we will talk about one of the most famous psychologists of all times, Carl Jung, and his theory about shadows. So make sure you watch until the end to find out how Carl Jung can help you heal your deep wounds. Carl Jung was born on July 26, 1875 in Clos, Switzerland. He died on June 6, 1961 at the age of 85. He was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded analytical psychology. Jung's work is noted for its esoteric nature, which includes concepts such as synchronicity, archetypes, and the collective unconscious. As a student of Sigmund Freud, Jung broke away from Freudian orthodoxy early in his career, moving away from his focus on sexuality and instinctuality, instead developing his own theories about the human psyche. The idea of shadow was first introduced by Jung in his book Psychological Types in 1921. In this book, Jung describes the shadow as an archetype that resides in the collective unconscious of humanity. According to Jung, it is a universal and primordial psychic structure that represents the hidden or darker aspects of the personality. These darker aspects include repressed emotions, undeveloped tendencies, inferior traits, and unacceptable impulses. The term shadow was chosen by Jung because it evokes the image of a dark, formless mass that follows a person and casts a negative shadow behind them. This concept of shadow is quite different from Freud's concept of the ID, which is the part of the psyche that contains primitive instincts and drives. While Jung also believed in the existence of the ID, he thought that it was just one part of a more complex structure called the psyche. The psyche, according to Jung, is made up of three parts: the ego, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. The ego is the conscious mind, while the personal unconscious contains repressed memories and complexes. The collective unconscious, on the other hand, is a deeper layer of the psyche that houses universal, primordial images and concepts known as archetypes. One of these archetypes is the shadow. Jung believed that the shadow archetype contained the sum total of all negative and evil that humanity had ever known. It is what makes us act in unacceptable ways towards others. However, Jung also saw the shadow as having positive aspects. It is not simply a representation of our negative traits, but also the source of creativity and vitality. Jung believed that by confronting our shadow and integrating it into our personalities, we can become more whole and complete individuals. This process of integrating the shadow is a central part of Jungian psychology and is seen as a path to individuation, which is the ultimate goal of psychological development. So let's look at some ways Jung's shadow can help you heal deep wounds. No. 1. By acknowledging and accepting the shadow, we can gain access to the positive aspects of this archetype, such as creativity and vitality. When we suppress or deny our shadow, we cut ourselves off from these important sources of energy. But when we embrace our shadow, we open ourselves up to the possibility of using our negative traits in a positive way. For example, someone who is angry may channel their anger into creative expression or physical activity, rather than allowing it to build up and fester inside them. No. 2. The Jungian concept of shadow can also help us to forgive ourselves and others. When we are confronted with our shadow, we may be tempted to judge ourselves harshly for having these negative thoughts or feelings. However, Jung believed that this is not productive and that we should instead learn to accept and forgive ourselves for our imperfections. Similarly, When someone else's shadow is triggered in us, we should try to understand and forgive them rather than becoming angry or judgmental. No. 3. By understanding and integrating our shadow, we can break free from negative cycles in our relationships. As Jung saw it, the shadow can cause us to recreate the same patterns of conflict and dysfunction in our relationships. For example, if we have a parent who is overly critical, we may subconsciously attract partners who treat us in the same way. However, by becoming aware of this pattern and taking steps to change it, we can create healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Number 4, the concept of shadow can also help us to overcome addiction and compulsive behaviors. As Jung believed, the shadow often manifests itself in our lives as addictions and compulsions. These can range from substance abuse to gambling to overeating. However, by understanding the underlying causes of these behaviors and taking steps to address them, we can free ourselves from the grip of our shadow and live more balanced lives. No. 5. Finally, by embracing our shadow, we can become more authentic and whole individuals. When we try to deny or suppress our shadow, we present a false self to the world. This can lead to feelings of shame, guilt, and anxiety. However, when we integrate our shadow, we are able to be more true to ourselves and our values. This authenticity can lead to greater self-acceptance, inner peace, and personal growth. The concept of shadow can seem complicated at first, but it is really quite simple. We all have a shadow, and it is a part of us that we should not try to deny or suppress. Instead, we should learn to accept and integrate our shadow so that we can become more whole and complete individuals. By doing so, we can access the positive aspects of the shadow, forgive ourselves and others, break free from negative relationship patterns, overcome addiction and compulsive behaviors, and live more authentically. What are your thoughts on Jung's theory of shadow? Do you think it can help us to heal deep wounds and become more whole people? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share it with others who may also benefit from it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, have you heard of the placebo effect? It has been shown to improve the effectiveness of medical treatment. Watch the video to find out how it works and why it is important. Why does the placebo effect work? It has been observed that patients who receive a placebo pill, along with a prescription drug, often experience the same level of improvement as those who receive only the prescription drug, even when the placebo is a sugar pill with no active ingredients. Here's another interesting video for you. Have you ever heard of the broken heart syndrome? This is a real medical condition that can be triggered by extreme emotional stress, such as the death of a loved one. The condition can cause chest pain, shortness of breath, and other symptoms that mimic a heart attack. It was traditionally believed that such emotional stress could not have a physical cause. However, modern research has shown that there is a link between the mind and body, and that emotions can indeed affect physical health. If you love watching this kind of content, we have good news for you. Our channel has a lot more interesting videos on psychology and many other topics. Just click on the subscribe button to get all the updates. Thank you for watching. Until next time.